Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia of Explicit Travel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my move from Brooklyn, New York to Las Vegas, Nevada. So I moved to Las Vegas in August of 2021. So I've been here for approximately 6 months now. I'm just going to talk about some of my pros and my cons. When I was thinking about moving here, YouTube was a great resource for me. I watched, a lot of videos about the pros, the cons, what it's like to live here, and it kind of like helped me make my decision to make the move. So we'll get into it. I had to write everything down just so I wouldn't forget anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the cons because I want to leave things on a positive note because thus far I will say that I love living here. So I'm going to start with the cons and then we'll go into the pros at the end. So I'll leave you with something positive about Las Vegas, okay? So one of the first cons that I'm going to talk about is the traffic and the drivers. Las Vegas is a growing city and there's a lot of construction happening. This is just a con because it creates a lot of traffic. Sometimes highways, they're down to one lane. It could be frustrating to get from place to place because of the traffic. Also, the drivers here, I think, in my opinion, are probably some of the worst drivers in the country. I'm pretty sure there's an article that might say so. One of the things that makes driving here difficult is that a lot of people who live here are not from here. So everybody comes from different states with their different driving habits, and that creates a little bit of chaos. Also, a lot of people speed here. So on our highways, the speed limit is 65, which you would rarely see anyone going 65. They usually go on about 75, 80. I've seen people 85, 90, upwards of 100. And I've read that speeding is one of the leading causes of crashes here in Las Vegas. There's also a lot of drunk driving here for obvious reasons. So that's another con that I'm gonna, I would just say is definitely a con, is the traffic and the drivers. Another con for me is going to be the accessibility to certain things like stores and restaurants, because concentration of the things that you might want to do might be located in a hotel or the casino. Me personally, I don't gamble, and I don't really like going to the Strip. As a local, we don't really go to the Strip much, only when we have friends and family visiting and it's something that they want to do, then we'll go to the Strip. But usually I don't go. But there are certain stores that I can only get access to if I go on the Strip and if I go into the hotel or casino. For instance, if I need to go to Louis Vuitton, if I need to go to Dior, if I need to go to Gucci, then I have to go to the Strip. Hassle, parking in the casino, is all these people, all these tourists, and it could just be a hassle at times. I mean, there is always parking, which I think is convenient, but at the same time, you don't want to always have to go to a casino to get the things done that you want to do. There's a casino here where they have a bowling alley. It's like, okay, where is there not like a standalone bowling alley that I could go to? No, it's in a casino. So that's what I would think is like one of my cons, is just that having that accessibility to certain things. Not to say that you have to go to casino every time you need to go to a certain place, because we do have a lot of neighborhood shopping malls, which I'm going to talk about in my pros, that you can have access to, but they don't have like certain stores. You would have to go to the Strip or to the casino for those kind of things, and that would be the same thing for any like kind of exclusive restaurant. You're likely going to find that on the Strip or in a casino or hotel. Another con, no water. Okay, we live in the middle of the desert. It's like, I'm, from New York, so, if I'm driving, I'm used to like passing by a body of water and just having that peace, that serenity. And here I feel that peace and that serenity when I see the mountains, because we are surrounded by mountains no matter where you are in Las Vegas. It's beautiful, but we don't really have any large bodies of water. And sometimes I kind of miss that. Doesn't make me want to move back to New York, not at all, but it's just a thing to remember. There's no large bodies of water, there's no beaches, but what we do have is an abundance of pools and resorts that try to make you feel like you're at the beach, but there's really no large bodies of water. Also, with the growing community, the water shortage has been like a big discussion. So sometimes when I first got here in August, they were asking us to preserve water, preserve electricity because of the extreme heat, things of that nature. Another con I would say is the medical. This is something that I heard about before I even moved here. I heard that the medical system is not the greatest. Appointments are like months out. So for instance, I made an appointment to see a doctor in December, and the soonest that they had available for me was February. So I called in December, and the soonest that they can get me an appointment was in February. So I would say that that's a big con. So if you're gonna move out here and if you have any special needs or something that would require any kind of medical treatment, I would research your options before you got here, only because there's a scarcity of services. That's for mental health, for any community services, any doctors, health, things of that nature. You should definitely research that ahead of time. I will say that when I met with my doctors, I do like my doctors, they're great. And I did, when I went to see my doctor, I made all of my appointments for the remainder of the year. So I was able to secure those things. So I didn't have to call 2 months ahead to get an appointment, the soonest is like 2 months away. So I would say that that's a con. The people. Las Vegas is a transient city. I knew this, another thing, this is something I knew before I came here, that, people come and they go. People come here just for work. Some people come here because, they just want to try it. Some people, they like it. Some people don't stay. Some people, they love it, but they can't make it here. So you find it like hard to really make friends and things of that nature. I mean, it's hard to make friends as an adult, period. But in this city, it could be like a little bit more difficult because everybody is so transient. So once you think you've got, someone that, okay, I can, hang with this person and I can do that with this person, and you're making plans, and then the next thing you know, they're like, hey, I'm moving. So that's one thing that I would say. Also, sometimes you can find some people here to be like a little disingenuous, I feel like, and I just think that might be like a West Coast thing. But I've only been here for 6 months. I love my coworkers. They're all really nice, really sweet. There's not a lot of people that I work with who are actually from Las Vegas. They're all from, different cities. But that's just something to consider if you're moving out here, especially if you move out here with no friends or family like I did. It's just me and my husband, and we just have, we have each other. And then I've made some a few friends along the way, and they've been great. And actually one of my friends actually is moving already, and I've only gotten to hang with her for 6 months, and maybe by the time she leaves, maybe we got to spend like a year together, and she's already leaving, moving on to another city. Okay, another con for me would be the sense of lack of community. So even though I'm from a big city like Brooklyn, we still have like a sense of community. Like I can go to the corner store and my bodega guy, he knows what I'm gonna order. He already know I'm getting a bacon, egg and cheese, egg whites with salt and pepper on toasted wheat bread. That's it. I just walk in, because you want a sandwich this morning? Yeah, that's cool, got you. And you know, you see your neighbors, they speak, everyone is friendly. Here in this city, I think everybody kind of keeps to themselves, which could be a good thing for some people. Some people might like enjoy that more than having to speak to people that you have no interest in really getting to know. But there's not really like a sense of community here. I think to a certain extent, there's a way that you can create that sense of community. Like if you lived in like a smaller area, like a small pockets of community, and they have like a community clubhouse, and then you meet your neighbors that way. You can kind of try to build that for yourself. But anybody who's lived here that I spoke to, I mean, for years, they said they lived in Vegas for 20 years and they lived in their house for 15 of those years, and they don't even know their neighbors' names. Which is like weird to me, because, you know, I just always felt like in Brooklyn, like we always had that, you know, sense of community. Here is not really like that, which might not be a con for some people. The school system. So Nevada's school system is actually ranked the second worst in the country, behind Oklahoma. The school system here is not the greatest. So if you have any children, I would really consider researching the area that you're going to live and look at the schools and see what their rating is. I don't have any children, but my husband and I are expecting right now. And I always knew that the school system was not the greatest, and I always thought, okay, if I lived in a better area, then the schools would be better, which has like proven to be pretty much true. But I also think a lot of the learning and foundation occurs at home, so I'm not really too worried about the school system. But it's something to consider and to think about, to be prepared if you're going to move here, that you are not in a good school district, and if you don't have the extra time to give to your child to ensure that their teachers are, you know, give them the education that they need, you're not helping them with their work, you really have to consider those things, because our school system is not the best. Another con, not to say this list is like something that I just came up with off the top from my 6 months here. I'm sure I'm going to do an update in another 6 months for when I've been here for a year, and I'm sure that this list will change. But my final con that I'm going to talk about is there's no stars in Las Vegas. The fact that there's no stars, so it's like I never even really noticed that I couldn't see the stars until I took a boat ride in this town over. It's called Henderson. So it's about like maybe 25 minutes from the Strip. So Henderson is Henderson, Nevada. It's its own city. It's not Las Vegas. And so they have this community called Lake Las Vegas. It's beautiful there. I mean, the homes are phenomenal. And it's a lake. It's a man-made lake, of course. It's not huge, but it's a body of water. And so I wanted to go. And so I took a boat ride for Halloween. It was a ghost ship cruise. And not until I got on that boat and we're like sailing, and I'm looking up, I'm like, oh, stars. Like I haven't even seen stars in like forever. And so I had been here for like almost 2 months by the time I realized that living in Vegas, I don't see any stars. So what I found out is that Las Vegas is actually named one of the brightest cities on planet Earth. And we do not get to see the stars because of the concentration of lights from the Strip. So per NASA, Las Vegas is the brightest city on planet Earth. This is per NASA. So from space, Las Vegas is the brightest city on planet Earth, and therefore we do not get to see the stars due to the concentration of lights from the casinos and hotels. And so, I mean, if you are a stargazer, a star watcher, you're really into that kind of thing, we don't really have any stars here. We don't see any stars. But if you go to Henderson, like, 20 minutes, 30 minutes away, I got to see the stars. That was exciting for me. The small pleasures in life. Hey, what can I say? Haven't seen stars in a while. Okay, on to the pros. pros, I'm so happy to talk about the pros, because despite all the cons, they're not like make or break things for me that would say, oh, these things makes me want to like leave Las Vegas, like I can't do it kind of thing. I think it's just going to take some time to adjust. All my cons is, to me, it's just going to be some adjustment, and that doesn't mean that I have to move. That's you know, if there's anything that I said that you say that you think you can't live with, you would like strongly have to consider those. Things. My pros. The first one, of course, is the weather. Hello, the weather. Okay. Granted, 3 months out of the year, it's like over 100 degrees, and it is blazing hip hop and R&B. But the rest of the months of the year is beautiful. I think the coldest month was December, and like in the day it was probably like 45, and in the evening would go down to like 30. And then some days in December it got pretty warm, like 60s, and then January it was like 65, 70, and I'm like, as compared to New York, it was like 15 degrees and snowing. So also, we have over 300 days of sunshine here. Like, I could never live in a city like, you know, Seattle, Washington, or anywhere in Oregon. I mean, it's beautiful, of course, but the fact that they don't really get a lot of sunshine, my seasonal depression, it would be on 10. I self-diagnosed myself with seasonal depression because I just love the sunshine. And so I feel like since I've been here with so many sunshiny days, it just makes me feel, you know, brighter. Even if it's cold outside, the sun is still shining. So I think that that's like definitely a pro. The weather here is really good. So right now, today was a high of, I want to say 85 today. So it's pretty warm, and it's March. So that was nice. And then actually tomorrow is going to be 91. And as opposed to on New York right now, it's about 40, you know, it's pretty cold. But here we're like summer weather right now. And today was like absolutely beautiful. So other than those months where it's just like the heat might be unbearable for some people, it's always good to remember that heat is a dry heat. We don't have any humidity. So you can like consider that. If you stay hydrated, I think you'll be fine here during the summers. Also, a lot, like, there's almost nowhere here that does not have central air. So the hardest thing is going to be is like from walking to your car to going to wherever you need to go until you get to the air, pretty much. But I think that the weather is a pro. Activities. There is so much to do in Las Vegas, so much to do. We're the entertainment capital of the world. So, I mean, we have all kinds of shows. It's accessible to you. Like, I live in Spring Valley, which is the southwest part of Las Vegas. It's about 12 minutes away from the Strip. It's pretty central. I would say that location where you live is very important. With that being said, you want to choose a location that's close to a highway, because we do a lot of highway driving. And if you live 10 minutes away from the closest highway that gets you to the, you know, the main point of the city, that adds like an extra 10 minutes to, you know, your commute, because it's going to take you 10 minutes to get, you know, from your house to the highway, and then you got to take the highway to where you need to go. So I live literally, I would say, I don't know if to put it into perspective, if you know like what 2 New York City blocks is like, I live 2 New York City blocks away from the 215 East. And then and I also have the I would take the 215 to east to like the I-15 north, and then that would take me to the Strip. And so my location where I live is very good. With that being said, living in a location like this that's central is expensive, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. I'm going to say that this cost of living here, maybe a year or two ago probably would have been on my pros list, but now I'm just going to say something that's neutral. So I'll get to that. Anyway, entertainment, absolutely wonderful. There's a lot of festivals here, which is great. I think another thing that's good is the malls. Like, we have an abundance of shopping malls, and they're like beautiful and luxurious, and they're not just like, oh, they're just on the strip. We have so many different areas. Like, we have the Southwest section. So we have Summerlin, and we have Silverado Ranch, and there's just like so many different places here in Vegas. And the shopping malls, they're all so beautiful, and they have some indoor malls, some outdoor shopping, and everything is just so beautiful and new and clean. And I love living here, and I love just going and just discovering new places. Like, every time I go somewhere, like, I see something new that I did not see the last time. And of course, that's like the process of discovering like a new city when you just moved here. But just the shopping, I mean, they have so many stores, and everything is so close and accessible to you. I have like maybe three New York City blocks from me. There's a Starbucks, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, there's so many restaurants, there's grocery stores, 4 or 5 of them, literally right up the street. So it's like a 4 or 5 minute drive for me. Everything is there. There's a gym. Everything's just right there, so accessible to you. And actually right now, literally next door, steps from where I live, they are building a new mall, and also maybe 5 steps from where I live, building a new casino. So there's that. So like I said, Las Vegas is growing, it's building up, and if you're here for it, I think you'd love it. Another pro, visits and vacations. So because this is a tourist city, you might have a lot of friends and family coming to visit. So if you're anything like me and you're moving here, it's just you and like your husband, or you and your children, and you don't have any family or friends nearby, it's wonderful when people come to visit. And since I've been here since August, it's just been 6 months. I've already had 2 of my friends come to visit from the East Coast. I've had my mom already come here from New York twice. My cousin has already been here once. So I've had like so many visitors since I've been here. So it really helps me not to feel so homesick, because everybody has been like coming, and when they come, you get to show them around and show them like what your new life is like, and it's they love it for you, and it's exciting for you to show them like what you're doing here while they're on the other side of the country, and so they could feel at peace and know that you're happy and you feel safe here and you're in a comfort zone here, even though it's like a new place for you. So I think living in this city, that's a pro, because a lot of people do come to visit. The location of Las Vegas. We are so close to California. I know I said in my cons, I didn't like the fact that we didn't have any big bodies of water, but our nearest beach, like a real beach in California, is about a 4-hour drive away. Which is really not bad, because I used to drive from New York to Maryland in 4 hours. So just going one state over 4 hours and go to the beach. I have not been there yet, but I do plan on taking a trip there. I feel like we have a good location because we're close to California. We're close to Oregon. Being here in this particular location, you have accessibility to a lot of other states. Here in Nevada, we have some beautiful, beautiful recreation areas. Red Rock Canyon is very nice. So if you ever wanted to, you're here, you should check that out. We have Lake Mead. Lake Mead is beautiful. As I told you before, Lake Las Vegas, beautiful. So we have a lot of activities and recreational things that you can do here. So I think the location is good. The food scene. The food here is so good. Now, it's different from New York in that it's not the same style, but the food is still very good. I really would say that I've eaten anywhere that I did not find the food to be absolutely delicious. And the food was usually like always so fresh, and the service is usually always great. So the food scene here is just amazing, and they're always opening up new restaurants, new bars, new casinos. So once you think you've done it all, which I don't think you could ever, not even in a lifetime, because there's so much to do here, something new is coming up. So food scene is great. Another pro, there's no state income tax. So if you're coming here and you're working, you don't have to pay any state taxes. Tourism pays for us. So my checks, I get, they look a lot larger because I'm not paying any state income tax. So I think that's like definitely a pro. So I'm going to get down to something that I think is neutral. I guess it depends on your perspective, right? So affordability. My husband and I decided that we were going to move here in 2019. So when we were making our decisions, okay, this is the city that we want to go to. We said, well, we're going to visit a few more times, make sure this is the place. So we said, okay, we're going to look at some houses because, okay, we live in New York. We've been living in an apartment. I think, we should probably get a house, and, Vegas is like pretty affordable. So let's check out some houses. So we came here about 3 times, and every time we came, we looked at like different houses and communities. One of my favorite places that we went to was Sky Canyon. I absolutely love Sky Canyon. It's in Centennial Hills. I just love the houses there. I just loved everything about it. But in the end, we decided that we should rent in the event that we did not like it here. Because we did not want to be stuck with a mortgage in a city that we did not like. But since we've been here and it's only been 6 months, we are really thinking about buying a home because we do absolutely love it here. But I still want to give us another 6 more months. So we've been here for a year just to make sure this is what we want. My intention is to stay here until it's time for us to retire, raise our family here, and maybe once we retire, go to another city. But I love it here so far, but give me 6 more months and then I'll know for sure. So when we were looking at homes in 2019, the median home price was $312,990. So you could get like a nice size house for that price, like 2,000 square feet, 2,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, 2-bay garage. You could get that for $312,990 in 2019. The median home price in 2022 is $435,000. So the same houses that my husband and I looked at in 2019, they're like $435,000 now. There are even some homes that we looked at, maybe they were like maybe on the higher end because they were more than the 312, which was the median in 2019. So they were like maybe like 400,000 or 425. Those homes are going for like 600,000, 700,000 now. So the median home price from 2019 to 2022 is a difference of $123,000. Now, the affordability here in this aspect is relative. So for me, I'm like, okay, if I have to pay $435,000 for a house here in Nevada, and I paid $435,000 for a house in 2022 in New York, I know that I'm going to get more for my money in Nevada. So you're going to get more space. You're going to get like a new, a more recently built home. You can even get like a new build. So it's all relative. For me, my issue is that my husband and I just know what the homes are worth, only because we came here, in 2019, and we knew what these houses are worth, and we just don't feel comfortable paying that price for a house when we know what it's worth, kind of. So we're keeping an eye on the market. If houses go down, that's great. If they don't, we're still going to be looking to buy. And if we have to, pay that price, we'll pay that price because we love it here. Rent. So the average bedroom right now, average one bedroom, excuse me, in Las Vegas right now is going for $1,800. This is a big jump from 2019, of course. So just consider that, you know, when you're thinking about moving here, just know that the cost of living, whereas if you've seen a video that said the cost of living here is great, things have definitely changed in 2022. So, you know, you really have to just look into that to see what's going to be, you know, feasible for you. And for me, it's worth paying the money, only because our apartment complex was built in like 2017 or 2016, so it's fairly new. Probably like only one other person has lived in our apartment before we got it, and it's modern. When we have this complex has 2 resort style pools. We have a dog park. We have a gym. There's a movie theater room, so you can host like movie nights with your friends. So we have a big beautiful clubhouse, and you're not gonna get that in New York. And no, it's not cheap. No, to live here in this particular complex is not cheap, but it's worth the money, because I can pay what we're paying. You know, we can pay what we're paying for this apartment in New York, and we wouldn't get any of the amenities that this has. So the cost of living, affordability, you know, that's all relative to where you're coming from. For me, you know, it's way more expensive than what I thought it would be coming from New York, but it's definitely, you get more for your money. That's what I'll say. So I'm gonna wrap. That's it. That's all my pros and cons. I'm gonna do a 1-year update, as I said, about what I think about Las Vegas in a year. As far as explicit travel goes in my channel, I'm going to be doing some revamping. So we're going to be explicit travel and more. And I'm going to be working on some more videos for you guys in terms of travel videos. But I'm also going to be doing some videos on some purchases that I've made, on some clothing and accessories and things of that nature, because I think that when I'm looking at a product and I want to buy it, you know, and I'm seeing it online, I'm like, man, I wonder how that looks in person, or I wonder how it looks on a person. And so when I'm shopping, and especially when you're making a big purchase, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing. And so I'm going to be doing some videos on that now on my channel, so I'll be bringing that to you guys. And I think that with the pandemic and not being able to travel as much as I used to, I think that would give me some more content. So I'm going to be coming with those videos. As I said, you know, my husband and I, we are expecting, so I'm about 4 months along. So I'm not sure how much traveling I'm going to get done. But I do have a trip coming up in June, which I will definitely post a video about that trip. And so that'll be coming for you guys. And I'll be working on some past trips that I've done. So I'm going to work on my video to Greece. So I went to Greece with my husband last year for our honeymoon, and so I'm going to work on a Greece video, and I'm going to be working on my Thailand video. I went to Thailand about 2 or 3 years ago, so I'm going to be working on those, and I'll be posting those, so look out for those. Well, thank you so much for joining my channel. If you have any questions about Las Vegas, please don't hesitate to comment. I'm like so willing to help. When I was looking to move to Las Vegas, YouTube was like a great resource for me. So that's why I wanted to make this video. So, you know, if anybody had questions, I wanted to be, you know, a resource, pay it forward. So if you have any questions, please comment down below. And once again, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.